All right, UFC Fight Night, Perez versus Taira. This is gonna be my prediction video. Um, I'm sorry I kind of led you guys astray last week. This week will be better, hopefully. I've done a pretty decent amount of research, and I have good faith in these picks. All right, starting off with Josefine Knutsson and Julia Polastri. So I think Josephine's gonna win by decision. She looks really great all throughout rounds 1 to 3. And she likes to step on the gas right from the get-go. Another issue is that Julia slows down um towards like the middle of the fight. And so I'm thinking that Knutsson will just have her on the back foot the whole time. I also just think she's a better fighter. She's got more of a technique figured out. So I think she will win by decision. Um, yeah. All right. The next fight's gonna be with Melquizael Costa and Shayilan Nuerdanbieke. Um, I'm actually gonna go with Shayilan Nuerdanbieke because he fights like a good student. He doesn't really have that killer instinct, so I'm gonna go for him to win by decision because I don't think he's gonna be super aggressive. I don't think he's gonna try anything too crazy. Um, Having watching back Costa's previous fights, I do think he's a good fighter, and had he not gotten completely destroyed by Steve Garcia, then I might have picked him, but I don't know if you guys saw those brutal elbows slicing through Costa's face at the end of that round. Um, he looked like he got a concussion and a half. And I'll insert some pictures here just so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. And I'm worried that this is going to be a situation where, like, if you guys remember the Volk versus Islam head kick KO, and then Volk came back to fight Ilia Topuria, and everyone was like, well, I thought that Volk would win because I was like, well, he fought like some really great fighters. He was not the same Volk. And he got KO'd by Ilia Topuria. So I'm thinking that we might not see the same Costa here. These are just my thoughts. You can't get KO'd like that and be, okay or come back to yourself. That's just my personal opinion. Also, I have a hard time picking against anyone who wears these hats. I'll insert a picture here. Um, So yeah, I'm gonna go with Shayilan Nuerdanbieke by decision. The next fight's gonna be with Jekka Saragih versus Westin Wilson. I think Jekka Saragih might get a KO here. I feel like Westin Wilson is like the substitute teacher that comes in and isn't familiar with the class, isn't that familiar with the content, and I just don't think he'll be able to keep up with the pace of Jekka. And I think he's gonna get controlled in a similar way that he did in his fight with Joe Anderson Brito. Basically, I think that Jekka's gonna hunt him down the whole time and ultimately get a KO. If not a KO, I think he'll win by points. So the next fight on the card is with Carli Judice versus Gabriella Fernandes. I think Gabriella Fernandes is gonna win this one. I think she's got her technique a lot more refined. I think she's a slicker fighter, and she also knows how to shoot without leaving herself too open. Like she'll raise her hands after she shoots, or she'll bounce back. And also Carli lost against Ernesta Karatskate, and I don't think Gabriella would have lost against Ernesta Karatskate. Yeah, I think she's just a lot better on the feet, and I think this is gonna be the way she wins. The next fight up the card is with Jimmy Flick and Nate Maness. I'm gonna go with Nate Maness to win this one. Both of these dudes are pretty good fighters. The only thing I'm concerned about with Jimmy Flick, and although he is a good grappler, he likes to leave his legs open um when he's on the ground. He did this against Charles Johnson when he was pounding him, and he could have just put him in guard and he chose not to. And that's pretty concerning to me. I don't like seeing that. Especially not against a good grappler like Nate Maness. So I'm gonna say Nate Maness by KO or points. Though for some reason in this one, because Jimmy Flick loves turning around accidents, it's possible he might turn something around here and win, but The logical answer here tells me Nate Maness for the win by KO or points. The next fight up the card is Tagir Ulanbekov versus Joshua Van. So Tagir Ulanbekov is Dagestani. Who do you guys think is gonna win, the Dagestani or the Myanmar soy boy? And I don't mean to call him that, but I'm just saying people from that region do consume a lot of soy. Okay. I feel like this is gonna be mostly a wrestling match. Joshua Van's one loss is by rear naked choke, and though I have not watched that fight, that is not a good sign against when you're going against the Dagestani. You know, your one loss was by rear naked choke. I don't know. I'm going with the Dagestani on this one. I think he's gonna win. Next fight is with Josh Quinlan and Adam Fugitt. You know what? I've been thinking about this fight a lot, and I came to the conclusion that I think Adam Fugitt might actually win this one. So Fugitt is a southpaw. Josh Quinlan fights orthodox, so I think Quinlan's gonna have a harder time with this. The last orthodox or southpaw fighter Josh Quinlan was fighting was Danny Barlow, and he was landing half as many strikes as him. Now, I don't think that Danny Barlow is on the same level as Adam Fugitt. I think Adam Fugitt's not going to be as aggressive. Another thing that worries me is like with the wrestling. So Quinlan has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, though we never really see him utilizing it. Like we don't see him shooting for takedowns, which is concerning. Adam Fugitt also has a 5-inch reach advantage, so I think he's gonna be a little better on the feet. And I think he's gonna finish this one with just more points and get the decision. So yeah, I just see him outpointing him pretty much. Okay, moving on to the next fight, which is with Brady Hiestand versus Garrett Armfield. I'm gonna go with Garrett Armfield on this one. Brady Hiestand leaves himself open. We saw this against the fight that he had with Fernie Garcia, where he got wobbled. And this is the kind of shit that will not fly against Garrett Armfield, who is a good boxer. Yeah, both of them have pretty good grappling, though we've seen Garrett Armfield do well against Brad Katona and Onama. So I think boxing will probably prevail in this fight, and if that's the case, I think that Garrett Armfield's got this one in the bag. Either way, I think he's gonna stack up points. Maybe he'll get a KO, but yeah, I think he's gonna do better in this fight. Okay, next up on the card, we've got Alambayev versus Jose Johnson. So the logical part of me wants to pick Alambayev. He just looks like he fits better into this division. His composition is perfect for this. He moves well on the feet. He's pretty slick. He's also got pretty good grappling. Jose Johnson is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, which is mildly concerning, against a really good grappler. However, I was just watching the media day conference, and I will say Jose looked pretty good. He looked pretty fresh, and he just talked about how he got his eyes fixed. He had a bunch of surgeries this year. Apparently before he was like legally blind and had the eyesight of like a 74-year-old. And the thing is he's like 6 foot. I think Alambayev is like 5'4". And I'm worried that like it's possible that Jose Johnson might get a KO here, because with such a huge advantage in reach, and also like he's gonna be super fucking skinny, so he's gonna be super fast. I feel like this could be the upset of the night. I feel like Jose Johnson might actually get a KO here. It's possible. I mean, like, I do think that Ulanbekov is more of a well-rounded fighter. He's a really good grappler. He's pretty good on the feet too, but he's facing someone who's so much longer than him, and he's never been put in this position, I don't think. So, and I don't know what the odds are for the Jose Johnson KO, but that might not be a terrible, idea there if you're betting or whatever. So yeah, That's my opinion on that. I'm actually really looking forward to this fight. I think this is gonna be like my favorite. Like, out of all the fights on this card, I'm most excited for this one. Okay, let's move on to the next fight, which is gonna be with Douglas Silva de Andrade and Miles Johns. So I think I'm gonna pick Douglas Silva de Andrade by maybe KO. Or points. He fought against Said Nurmagomedov and Cody Stamen. I'm really bad with names. Anyhow, and he did really well against both of them. I mean, he lost against Saeed, but he won against Cody Stamen. So, he knows how to counter and he knows what to do when he finds himself in tricky situations. The only thing is, so I feel like De Andrade's fight IQ is higher, and usually that means that fighters will kind of take their time, and be patient, wait for the right moment to strike. Whereas, Miles Johns just like shoots whenever, however. And the only problem with that is if it goes to decision and Miles Johns ends up acquiring more points, they might just give it to him because he, did more. However, I do think Douglas Silva de Andrade is the better fighter. Also, I think he's like 38, so he might, he might be slowing down. But hopefully, he's able to get that KO and, hopefully his striking is better and he is able to, land more shots. They will be better shots regardless. Yeah, I just think his technique is a lot better, way better than Miles Johns's. Miles Johns just fights with passion more than anything else, and that doesn't always fly, And I don't think it's gonna fly in this matchup. Okay, next fight up the card is with Timmy Cuamba and Lucas Almeida. So I was able to do like a limited amount of research on this fight because I wasn't able to find a lot of videos. But we saw Lucas Almeida struggle against a quicker paced fighter like Andre Fili, and I feel like Timmy Cuamba is going to be similar in that way where he's going to be quicker and he's going to put the pressure on Lucas Almeida. Another thing I noticed is that Lucas Almeida doesn't seem to be that solid on the feet. Like his kicks are pretty weak, and also when he kicks, he kind of like loses balance, which is not a good sign. Especially when you're fighting a boxer who's super focused on, trying to get that finish. So yeah, I'm thinking probably Timmy Cuamba. Yeah. My logic here is that Timmy Cuamba is just gonna be able to outpoint Lucas Almeida. The next fight up the card is with Ikram Aliskerov and Antonio Trocoli. So this fight got canceled. Unfortunately, I just checked, like, as I was finishing up my research, I went on UFC's website and reloaded it, and the fight was gone, and then I went on, like, some other websites to check, and yeah, the fight is gone and has been canceled. I originally thought that Ikram Aliskerov would win, but I guess it doesn't matter because the fight got canceled, and I was actually looking forward to this one. I'm sure a lot of you guys were too, and, yeah, the fight's gone. So the next and last fight on this card is with Alex Perez and Tatsuro Taira. So I want to say Tatsuro Taira by decision. And the reason I think this is because Tatsuro Taira is a more marketable fighter. I think it would be great for the UFC to have a Japanese fighter. He has a good look. He's marketable. But Alex Perez has had a lot of experience. I mean, he is older, so that's not really a great thing. The thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if Perez KOs Taira in like a similar type of exchange that we've seen in his fight with Edgar Chairez. But the thing is I know that Perez lost his like last 3 fights. The question is, will he repeat the same mistakes or will he pull a Dominic Reyes and just come back? Come back, learn from all those mistakes. The question is, how much does he want this? I don't know. I will say though, if this does go to decision, the judges will probably give it to Tatsuro Taira in a similar way that they gave Puja Tomar the fight against Rayan dos Santos. Yeah, because there's, the aspects you have to consider here are how good each fighter is, where they're at in their life, are they sick, are they doing well, how did they train, and also you have to consider UFC's perspective and what they want, or the kind of outcome they want, especially if this goes to decision. So I'm gonna say if it goes to decision, Tatsuro Taira. However, is it possible that Alex Perez could get a KO over this dude? Maybe. Maybe. I wouldn't count that out of the realm of possibilities. Yeah. Anyhow, now I want to give you guys my picks of the week this week. I'll let you know who I feel pretty good about, so, and then the fights that I don't know if I'm gonna, be endorsing all that much. So, starting with the fights that I feel really good about, there's only one, and it's for Jekka Saragih to win against Westin Wilson. And then moving on to the fights that I feel pretty decent about. Josefine Knutsson to win against Julia Polastri. Shayilan Nuerdanbieke to win against Melquizael Costa. Gabriella Fernandes to win against Carli Judice. Tagir Ulanbekov to win against Joshua Van. Garrett Armfield to win against Brady Hiestand. And that would be it for that. And then the fights that, I don't know if I'm gonna endorse all that much. Or I just guess I don't really know what the outcome of that fight could be. It could be, it could go either way. Alex Perez versus Tatsuro Taira, Lucas Almeida versus Timmy Cuamba, Douglas Silva De Andrade versus Miles Johns, Asu Alambayev versus Jose Johnson, though, I don't know, I, I really feel like maybe Jose Johnson actually has a chance here. I don't know, I have a good feeling about it. I can't fully describe it. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm not really good at articulating my thoughts that well. Elaboration is my greatest weakness because I'll get all these ideas, but I won't know how to convey them to people sometimes, which sucks. But yeah. And then Josh Quinlan versus Adam Fugitt. That could go either way, I feel. And also Jimmy Flick versus Nate Maness. Never know. Jimmy Flick could flick this one around, you know what I mean? I don't know. And that would be all. I'm actually thinking I might go live for this one. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about that, and yeah, it'll probably happen. Most likely happen unless some crazy shit comes up. But I'm gonna go live and watch all these fights with you guys. I'm excited for that. And anyhow, thank you for watching this channel. I keep refining the way that I make these picks each week. And I'm learning from the previous mistakes I've made. My last card being the worst one. But yeah, I have a good feeling about this week. And anyhow, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching these videos. Hopefully, I've given you some useful information to run with. And I'll see you guys soon in the recap video, or actually on the live, and then on the recap video.